What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Beth and I make all kinds of lifestyle and motherhood related videos here on YouTube, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of a playroom tour, or I guess I should say like a current playroom tour, because my husband and I just moved into this house. It is new to us as of like 6 weeks ago, and so one by one we've been trying to prioritize different rooms, getting them ready and functional, and I'm super excited to be working with today's sponsor Ruggable on this video. And so if you want to hear about a special offer that Ruggable has for viewers of my channel, then just keep on watching. So as I mentioned, we have only been in this house for a matter of weeks, and when it comes to decor and things like that, especially on the walls, there is still a lot of room to grow and build in that. I am very much a minimalist, but if you're looking at the walls like this doesn't look done yet, it's because it's not done yet. It's still very much in flux in terms of like actually hanging things and getting all of that finalized. But in terms of like the layout of the room, kind of the different zones that I have for my daughter right now, I'm gonna go through all of that in this video. I'm gonna talk more about toy rotation and the philosophy that we follow behind that, as well as toy organization and how we kind of just manage toys in and out of this space. I'm also gonna be touching on some of the toys that we have been loving for her current like 12 to 18 month age range, and where we get a lot of our toys for our babies. And so let's dive on in to the playroom tour. So the room that this is situated in is kind of sitting off of the entrance from our kitchen slash like dining room, as well as our living room. And the reason we decided not to have this be a dining room was because it just worked better with our season of life. I think that like oftentimes people can think that you don't have enough bedrooms or spaces in the house to have like a designated play area, but you can work with what you have. In the condo that we just came from before we moved into this house, I actually just had a like play corner set up in our living room. So I just shifted everything over and had like a designated area for Vivian to play in that space. And that worked really, really well for us while we were there. But since we moved into this house, it just made a lot more sense for my husband and I to be able to have a room where we could see our kids playing off of the kitchen, off of the living room, the two spaces that we are typically spending most of our time when we're at home, so that there is that designated zone for them. The reason that I wanted to do that was because one of the kind of Montessori philosophies is creating a yes space for your child. So we try to have our entire house honestly be kind of a yes space, and if there is a zone where there is anything that we don't want them to get into, then that is either locked off or a door shut, because we want them to have the ability to fully explore their space and learn in it without having that interruption or that narrative of hearing no all the time. So that is essentially the concept of a yes space, is a totally baby or toddler or child-proof environment where your child can be free to play and explore and use their imagination and just have a lot of fun. So that is why we chose to go with a playroom in our traditional dining room area and just leave our dining table as like an eat-in kitchen style right now, versus having this be a room that honestly we probably wouldn't even use for a couple of years and might collect dust. You can consider your options. There may be a space that you can repurpose in the meantime that could work really, really well as a playroom, even if it's just like a play corner. All right, I had to ditch my jacket because I'm 8 months pregnant and so hot right now trying to explain all this to you guys. But I'm going to kind of go like one by one in each of the corners of the room and just explain to you guys like why things are there, the intentionality and the thought put behind it, and just more about each of the different zones of the room. So this is Vivian's like main play shelf. We got this from a brand called ECR for Kids. I will link it in the description box because I get questions about it all of the time from you guys. we have really loved it. It's been a great tool for us to be able to do toy rotation with, and that's essentially what we use this whole zone for. So the toys that are currently on the shelf are not usually the toys that are there like next week or the week that will follow or the week before that, because I do try and rotate Vivian's toys out on a couple of things. The first thing is her interest. So if there is a toy that she's really particularly interested in at a certain time, then I will leave it out for her until she kind of loses interest in that thing, because there's no sense in pulling it away if it is really something that's engaging with her. So for example, this little basket that I actually thrifted is filled with some musical toys that I got on Amazon. Vivian loves to make music. She's obsessed with music. She loves to dance. It brings her a lot of joy. So this is a toy that I leave out a lot of the time and will rotate when I see that she's not picking it up as often as she typically is, but that is currently on the shelf. And then the other time that I will rotate something out is if there is a skill that Vivian is interested in mastering, or I know might be coming up soon in terms of like what her brain is currently working on in development. So that sounds really complicated, but we do use the Love Every kits a lot. They are such a lifesaver, because for me, I found especially in the first year that keeping up with all of the like milestones and brain development things was kind of overwhelming, especially when it came to the toys that I should be giving her. And so while you can find really affordable ways to kind of help stimulate some of these different things that they're working on, I've just found that having to take the guesswork out of that and like not having to worry about what types of toys to introduce and when, and they just are in the kits, has been so helpful. And we honestly don't really buy that many toys outside of the kits, so it has been a win-win for us. But a lot of the other toys here are part of their like 13 to 15 month kit, which is what the age range that currently Vivian is in. And she has been like spot on with all of the things that that kit has said that she'd be interested in doing. So like for example, this toy here, they're able to put like these little carrots into the top and poke them through. She's really interested in seeing things and how they kind of like fit into each other right now. Stacking is another really big one for her at like 13, 14 months. So this has been a really great toy. And then she also has really loved figuring out like just the technique behind certain things and cause and effect, and that has been building on each other over the last couple months. So this is kind of the zone where we implement and just kind of introduce new toys based on interest level, but then again also on what she's currently working on mastering. So this is where the bulk of the toy rotation happens, but I will say that I try to rotate most of the stuff in this room outside of the play kitchen, so I will get into all that. I know that I am for sure going to get questions on this and how we have like a real plant in our toddler's playroom, so I'm gonna answer that for you guys now. So to be honest with you guys, I probably will move this out once we have a newborn, just because we're gonna have to go through the whole process of like introducing plants again. But one of the things that was an important thing for me when Vivian was kind of transitioning out of that baby phase and into the toddler stage was having her be okay with plants being in her environment. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one being that I like plants and I want plants to be around and I want her to be able to grow to appreciate them as well. But B, I want her to have like real nature in her environment. That's another thing with Montessori, is having a lot more of those natural elements. But C, I want her to see like how we take care of this plant and that there's a rhythm and kind of a routine for that. So I wanted to be able to leave this out and have it still be a yes space, but have her know that she needed to respect the plant, not take the leaves off, not mess with the dirt or eat it. Is she 100% perfect at that all the time? No, she's a toddler, but most of the time she leaves the plants in our house and doesn't mess with them. And so I am going to do the same thing with our new baby as well, but kind of ease into that transition. So that is why there is a plant here and it works for us, but of course that is a different timeline for everyone's child. This little alphabet poster that I have up here is from a brand called Dolce Lar, who I heard about from a friend of mine on YouTube, Kylene. I think it's so adorable. Eventually I want to do a couple of them up here and kind of have a more full display, and even maybe do like 2 toy room shelves here if I can fit both of them once we have our new baby boy, because they will be playing with different things at different times. But again, this area is kind of all in flux right now. So over here we have Vivian's little book corner. This is a very small percentage of like the actual books that she has. Most of them live in her bedroom, but I use this on a rotating basis as well. So I really wanted to have something in this room that was very accessible for her, down on her level, because the one in her room, while it is on her level, is very overwhelming. There's a ton of books on it, and I find that she's less apt to just come and pick one at a time. She'll just honestly pull every single book off of the shelf in the one in her bedroom. So based on the ones that she's really interested in, and again, what she's kind of working on mentally, I will put some books in this shelf that kind of coincide with that. And I find that this being on the floor and on her level has worked wonders, because she honestly will, like, more than anything in this room, come over here and choose a book that she wants to read with me most of the time. And so I've absolutely loved having something down on her level when it comes to books. So before I give you guys kind of a tour of Vivian's play kitchen and then dive into more of the behind the scenes of the organization of this room, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about today's sponsor, and that is Ruggable. And you guys, I am so excited to be working with Ruggable because I am obsessed with their rugs. I think they are such an incredible brand and so genius in the way that they've designed their products as well. So when we were choosing a rug for this space in particular in our new house, having a Ruggable rug was like a no-brainer for Jared and I, because their rugs are spill and stain resistant, they are machine washable, they are non-slip, and so when it comes to like having a toddler or a baby, they are such a game changer in your home. We know that we are going to be potty training eventually and giving Vivian snacks throughout the day. There have already been times where milk has been spilled on this carpet, or I've had to wipe up strawberries that have been smeared after lunch. And so having a rug that is stain resistant but can also be thrown into the wash has been such a big deal for us already. And then it's also just so lovely that they have the option to add like a cushion pad to your rug, which is what we opted for our playroom rug, because with Montessori, a lot of the toys are natural, but that also means a lot of them are wooden. And when wood hits hard wood, it makes a lot of sound. And so having a very like cushiony rug in here has been such a nice thing for us as well. And the style of the rug obviously just brings the room together really beautifully as well. We ended up going with the Camran Ivory Opal rug in the round shape. I believe it was the 8-foot size, and it has just been the perfect way to kind of tie the room together as a whole, and we are seriously obsessed with it. We also decided to go with a Ruggable rug in the living room of our new house, because with toddlers and young babies and just the season of life that we're in, for me as a mom, knowing that I can throw the rugs in those high traffic areas into the wash just gives me so much more peace of mind. As I mentioned, the rug that I had before was just so much maintenance that like I could not do it with a toddler, and I love that these Ruggable rugs look so stunning in the spaces and have honestly like made everything look so much more like cozy and homey, but also not at the expense of convenience and being able to clean things up as necessary. So in the living room, I believe we went with the Merrill Harris cream rug in the 8x10 size and just did the regular cushion pad for that, and that has been perfect for our space. Again, I feel like it's really pulled things together, and our house has felt so much more like a home since we've put our Ruggables down. So if you do want to check out Ruggable for your home or your space, they are offering viewers of my channel 10% off of your order. And so you can save 10% by using the code BethGraceMoore10, and you can find my unique affiliate link in the description box of this video or pinned in the comment section below. So again, if you guys want to see how fabulous these rugs are for yourself, I totally recommend them. And again, you can save 10% off of your order with the code BethGraceMoore10. So thank you so much to Ruggable for working with me on today's video. All right, so coming over here, this is Vivian's play kitchen. This is the IKEA play kitchen that I did a DIY makeover for her first birthday. And then everything else is just accessories from a bunch of different places. So this little cutting board is IKEA. The food basket up there is IKEA. Pots and pans are all IKEA. Same with those little like serving spoons and things like that. They honestly do have a lot of really great products that go with the IKEA kitchen. And then this little mixing bowl is from Magnolia Home. So that is kind of what's in there. The reason that I haven't been swapping this out is because Vivian does play with it every single day. I've honestly been amazed at how often she'll come over here and reach for the food and put it in the sink and play with it, or just take things off of the back and be playing with it as well. And I know that pretend play doesn't actually typically start until like 16, 17, 18 months. So we still have some time to go. And so I think that having this in here is just a really nice introductory toy to that next phase of her development. This section over here is very much interchangeable as well. So this is either a desk that she works at, or it is a sensory table, and these little white things lift up to kind of reveal sensory bins or organizational bins inside. Or this kind of whole section gets swapped out and goes to her bedroom, and her Pikler triangle with the ladder actually goes in here instead. So she's not super into climbing right now. She's actually really liking climbing up on this and getting seated at this table on her own. So the Pikler hasn't been in here for a little bit now, but this is what she's currently most interested in. If you're wondering where this name puzzle is from, it's from a brand called Busy Puzzle on Etsy, but I store a lot of her coloring things in here. So I really love the Water Wow because it's kind of a mess-free approach to learning how to color and holding like the pen in your hand. But for coloring, we give her these crayons called Honey Sticks, which are non-toxic and made of beeswax. So we don't have to worry about her kind of gnawing on them in between. So this is kind of her coloring station right now. If you are wondering about the table or the chair was thrifted. I got it from a friend for 30 bucks who was just selling it, didn't need it anymore. But I know that HomeSense and Home Goods, which I believe are two very similar types of stores, often carry these wicker chairs for kids. And then this table I've mentioned in a YouTube video before, but it is a like knockoff of the IKEA Flysat table. So that sensory table has pretty well been out of stock now for over 2 years. So my sister-in-law for Vivian's first birthday actually had one that was custom made to fit the bins from IKEA. And so that is where we got that. Unfortunately, I can't link it, but definitely check out Etsy for just different versions of that in general. So over here is where all of the like toy organization happens. These two pieces of art were a DIY project. I got the canvases from the thrift store and then used joint compound to actually like cover them, and then just used a tool that's commonly used for flooring to get the effect on there. To be honest with you guys, I don't know if I'll leave them here like super long term, just because I feel like this area in general could use a little bit more depth in terms of the wall. Like they really just kind of blend in right now, but I did want to hang something up here in the meantime. And then this shelving unit, I feel like I get questions about a lot, but it was a DIY, and I don't want to lead you guys astray because it's a DIY that didn't 100% work. As you can see, I got the cabinet doors from IKEA. They are called the Ivar doors, and then I believe this is the Ivar shelf. So when we ordered all of that, we just assumed it all worked together, and then got the feet from Amazon to make like our own kind of sideboard because this style can be so expensive. But obviously these doors don't actually fit with this cabinet in general. So how we're getting around that is my husband is going to use a wood saw when we're working on the walls for the basement renovation and just kind of like line everything up at that point. But I cannot link it because it was a DIY, and even if I like gave you guys the individual links, they still wouldn't line up. So if you do want to do this DIY, just know that you're gonna have to fix that. When I open these doors up, this is what's inside. So these are all of Vivian's toys, like from the time that she was a baby until now. Basically every single thing that she owns toy-wise is out here or currently out here in this playroom right now. So we do like to try and keep things like relatively minimal. I've already gotten rid of a few things and will continue to do that as we add more kids, because I just don't think kids need very much. They're so happy with just a few things that they can focus on, and just even real life objects in general. So this is what the toy organization currently looks like. So when I say that I do toy rotation, everything would come from these shelves here. So up here I have a couple of just puzzles and some sorting toys, some more sorting toys down here, an object permanence box back there from Love Every, this little basket of balls that she was honestly like really obsessed with a couple of weeks ago. A couple of books that she really likes, so I keep these ones out of her bedroom and often just rotate them here for now. This little wooden piano that she got for her birthday from my mom, which is super cute. And then this little basket of dolls. Over on this side, I have some bins just because I feel like there's more like looser toys over here. But up top, I have all of her outdoor toys, so like shovels and pails that she'll often use in the grass or the pool. some chalk and some gardening stuff that she plays with when she's out with me gardening. And here a bunch of wood cars and a couple of just like pieces of a wooden train track that I also thrifted. Over here are some puzzles that are kind of just beyond her age range right now. I got these for her for Christmas with the pieces, and this was a little bit too small for her, so we'll reintroduce that eventually. And then in here, we have a bunch of sensory balls from when she was a baby. So I will be pulling those out for our son soon. In this basket, we have a lot of wooden toys that are, again, very much more so for that like baby age range, but some of the stuff in here she would still be interested in, like this wooden lacing toy, as well as this stacking toy here. But again, we'll introduce a lot of this stuff when we have our new baby boy. And then over here, basically all of this is Love Every, except for this little cup set here. These are all from different kits, and again, we do take them out still. So the nice thing about the kits is that they kind of build on each other. They don't just stop playing with these toys once you pass a certain kit, so those will all come back out eventually. And then over here, just a couple of other taller books that don't fit on that other shelf. And then this is like a little play hospital kit that my friend Brittany got her from Paris. So that is everything that we have in our shelves in terms of toy rotation. I do try and keep it really minimal and ask for like people to pool in on larger gifts or experiences a lot of the time for birthdays and things like that. Like her learning tower or the play kitchen or the sensory table, just because I feel like the little toys like this, they have such like short attention span and interest for. So that's why we rotate them, but try and not spend too much time or money on these smaller toys. Well, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little behind the scenes tour of Vivian and baby boy's playroom. It is honestly so fun to me to like create a space for my kids to just have a good time and be imaginative and explore. It has been one of my favorite parts so far of like having a baby and having a toddler, is getting to think through the intentionality of all of that. And I hope that this doesn't like overwhelm you or make you feel like the principles that you're using in your playroom or styles are wrong, because there is no right way to do any of this. I always feel like when it comes to like some of these like parenting trends and philosophies like Montessori, that it's important to emphasize that, because this fly is really just in my space right now. Because again, there is no right or wrong way to do any of this, and that's why even with like the Montessori stuff, we've like kind of decided to pick and choose what we want from each of the different elements of things and run with those and totally scrap the rest. You have to remember that this stuff is like very trendy right now, and take it with a grain of salt. So if there are certain things that you really love for your family, like for me, like the more minimalistic style I prefer to have in our house, it also means saving money on toys. And so absolutely love that element of Montessori, going to incorporate it. But a lot of the other stuff, again, you just have to pick and choose what works for your family. So don't watch this and feel like if you're not doing this, it's like something is wrong somewhere along the way. Nothing is wrong. Whatever you are doing, I'm sure is great, but this is just a little bit of what works for our family when it comes to playroom and the structure behind all of that. So again, like take it and leave it with certain philosophies and principles, and just take the pressure off, because I know that like watching some of this stuff, you can start to wonder like, am I doing enough? And you are doing enough. Whatever you have set up for your kids is incredible, and they're so blessed to have it. So wanted to put that out there as well. But again, I hope that you guys did enjoy this behind the scenes, and that it could give you a little bit of inspiration or ideas for the way that you do your toy stuff as well. And I also wanted to say thank you again to Ruggable for working with me on today's video. We are just so happy with the rug in this room. It has really transformed the space. And if you guys want to check out Ruggable for your home as well, remember that there is a link in the description box as well as the comment section pinned for you guys. And my code for that is BethGraceMoore10. So definitely check them out. But until my next video, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.